Hi everyone, my name is Ben and I'm an entrepreneur. So this is Ontraypreneurs, so welcome to the show. What I want to do on the show is really just learn about the day-to-day of the other entrepreneurs and especially with what they eat, because I love food as well. Starting with that, let me introduce, this is Aaron. All right, so Aaron, first of all, why don't we talk about what we got here for your meal? Because this is what you specifically requested as like a meal that you regularly eat.
Yeah, 24 eggs. We got 24 eggs right here. If my first business partner were to see this, he's gonna get a crack out of this, because when we first started our business about almost 4 years now, that's what we ate every single day. And then so what we would do is we do a Costco run every day, because we live so close to Costco. We used to live on Georgia, right next to Costco. And then we'll go there, buy like 30 eggs, and then we'll crack it open. And then we just got rid of the egg white. In hindsight, we should have just kept it. But we got so skilled at this, we can crack the eggs in two half and then just eat the egg yolk. And then each of us will eat 15 egg yolks. Just how like people would eat oysters, that's how we eat egg yolks, 15 a day.
So this is on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, yeah.
15 eggs.
15 eggs, and then we also eat chicken liver, and then some ground beef, 2 pounds each. So 2 pounds ground beef for him, 2 pounds ground beef for me. So at that time, a little background, the reason is because we were on a carnivore diet.
Carnivore diet.
Right, and then so all that we eat is animal product. And there's a reason behind it, is because he had a symptom that gave him kind of like gut disease. And then so at one point he was on 23 different type of meds. And then he's literally taking like 30 or 40 pills a day, and none of it would really help. And then he started getting on like just completely 100% animal-based diet, no carb, no nothing. And that just naturally healed everything. He used to need to he can't leave home, because he literally got to go to the bathroom every 5-10 minutes. Wow. And then after he got on that diet, everything just healed itself.
Wow. Yeah,
that was amazing. So I have extreme personality as well. So when I saw it, I'm just like, holy shit, let me give it a try. I gave it a try. I felt really, really good. Like every day I wake up at 6, I can work for 16 hours straight, and then go to bed and rinse and repeat. And so I kind of just stuck with it. Now my diet became a little bit more quote unquote normal, but I still do this once in a while.
Okay. So by normal, please start eating. But yeah, by normal, how many meals do you have like a day?
So usually 1. Sometimes I'll spread it out to 2. But usually 1, and I just tend to eat like a super large meal a day. So what I eat is like 400 grams of yogurt, 120 grams of oats, rolled oats, and then 60 grams of raisin, and then 1 whole Costco rotisserie chicken.
Wow.
That's it. So that's my diet. That's all that I eat every single day. Every single day. I don't eat anything else other than that. And sometimes I'll replace the chicken with eggs, because the chickens they don't come with a lot of fat.
Yeah.
And then so these are what's in here is very healthy fat.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a kind of fasting aspect to it, or?
Definitely. I try to. That's the primary 2 reasons. Number 1, I just can't cook. Like I'm a terrible cook. And so I either gotta eat out, or I just gotta keep my diet super, super simple. And I want to dedicate as much time into my business as possible. So I don't want to go learn cooking.
Right.
And then so I just eat once a day, because I feel like cleaning, preparing food and eating it takes so much time. And like I said earlier, I have an extreme personality, so I don't mind eating the same food for 365 days a year. So works out for me.
Okay.
I don't recommend to anybody else though.
So obviously, being an entrepreneur and being in business, your time is the most valuable. So you mentioned you don't want to learn to cook. Cooking takes a lot of time, right? From start to finish and cleaning. So you basically just buy most of the food. Very little preparation.
Yep, very little preparation. My cost. So I try to go to Costco. Like I get everything that I need from Costco once a week. And it's 5 minutes in and out. Sometimes it's just 3 minutes because I know exactly what I need, right?
Yeah.
I buy like 2 cartons of eggs, like 7 rotisserie chicken, and sometimes I fill up my oats once a month, and I fill up my yogurt once a month, raisin once a month too. So that's it. That's all I eat. I just keep it super simple because you know how like I'm not comparing myself to them, but you know how like Mark Zuckerberg, like ever since like he's become a public figure, I've only seen him wear like one shirt. The same shirt. Like so, he wakes up, he doesn't need to think about what I'm going to wear today. Same type of thing. Like I wear just super minimal. Like I don't try to go be fancy. Maybe in the future, but not this season in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So exactly along the lines of food. So what about like eating out? Like do you eat out with friends, or how do you factor that in?
It depends. So I live a bi-city life, which means I spend majority of my time here in Vancouver and the rest of my time visiting home in Shanghai. Most of my I don't know what to call the party friends are in Shanghai. So when I go back to Shanghai, when I hang out with them, and then like we have Asian roots. And then so, food there is amazing. So when I go home, I eat out all the time. That's when I don't work out anymore. And honestly, it was a bad influence. Like I don't work out anymore. Like here, I go to work out like 5 times a week, 4 days in the gym. One day, it depends on the weather. If the weather isn't good, then I would just run in the gym on the treadmill.
Yeah.
If the weather is good, for example, this morning I ran the Stanley Park.
Okay.
5 miles, and I'm working my way up to a half marathon.
Half marathon. Wow.
Sometime, I'm hoping that I'm going to run my first race, half marathon, at the beginning of next year.
Right.
Somewhere.
I suppose just along the lines of your meal, I'll just share a little bit about mine. But I have something same theme, eggs. For people those who can't see, but this is onion fried egg, a very classic kind of Chinese dish that my mom always made, and just mainly protein here, and of course some veggies. So I got watercress. Yeah, that's what I do. But the next thing I want to ask about is, well, what is it that you do?
Right. So for the past 4.5, so a little bit background story is, I graduated from college about 10 years ago. Jeez, it's already been 10 years. No, 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Graduated when I was 22. I'm 30 right now. So 8 years ago. The first 4 years, actually the first 3.5 years after I graduated, I worked for my family businesses.
Right.
And then so we had a relatively successful manufacturing business. My grandfather started it. My auntie is running it. My auntie is my mom's sibling, younger sister.
Okay.
And then so my auntie also has a son. That's my younger cousin, and he is 8 years older than me. And then so when I was graduating from college, he's still in kind of like junior high. Mm-hmm. And then so the family have always wanted to kind of like groom the next generation to take over the family business, and me being at the time I was a more promising prospect, not because like I was better or whatever, because you couldn't really see how good someone is until they have already worked for a couple of years, and my younger cousin was too young at the time. But it was just because like I was probably more level-headed, and not more level-headed, I mean kind of like more it seems like I'll take the traditional path. And then so I worked in my family business for 3.5 years. So we had a wine business, manufacturing business, and a restaurant. Hated them all. Like I literally hated them all. And then so I really try to get myself to like the industry. I just don't like the industry at all, because you're dealing with corporate clients all the time. There are some people that thrives in that environment. Like I know a lot of people that work in consulting, banking, finance and all the clients that they're dealing with are corporate finance. A deal can take like as much as like 2-3 years. It's normal to them. I want fast pace. I want to deal with decision makers. I want to deal with. I don't want to wait for a purchasing manager to go to his boss, who needed to go to his boss, who needed to go to a CFO of some sort to get something approved. And then I guess the dopamine hit just comes a little bit too late for me, that whole process. And then so 2-3 years into the process, I just feel like, dude, I gotta make a change. Because one day I was in my office and then in the family business, and I was looking, it's a manufacturing business, so there's production lines, there's engineers, writing, they're like making drawings of the new parts that we're going to release. And then I feel like I can just see my life at 60 years old. I'll be doing the same thing, and that was really scary to me. And then so, and it's also when like my passion for, I initially, because I was so new to the working world, I guess I still have a little bit of passion, but over time it just worn out. And then one day I just walked into, with the encouragement from my mom. So my mom's super important to me. She is instrumental in my development, especially the pivotal moments in my development. And then so with her encouragement and kind of like emotional backing, I went into my auntie's office and told her that I would quit. And I still remember the exact moment and everything that happened, 5 minutes before and after that moment, like it was on record tape. I can just replay that moment anytime, because it was a super emotionally charged moment. Yeah, it was a very pivotal moment. And I didn't have anything. I actually did have something lined up after that. So it was so funny. I'm actually making a YouTube video right now that maybe we can link it to. But that's kind of like my entrepreneur story, where like one day when I was sitting in my bed, I was scrolling on Facebook. Yeah, and then so I saw this ad. The person that was running the ad, his name is Dan Harry, and then he was promoting a kind of like a product, a digital product or program at the time that's called 30-Day Agency. So what it does, it teaches you how to run a marketing agency in 30 days. Okay. So the investment is $1,000, but it kind of also like says if you go through this thing, it's kind of like very unlikely that you're not going to be able to make your $1,000 back within 30 days. So to me, it was a no-brainer, right? And then so I bought I never had the money of saving money, the habit of saving money. So I took out my credit card. I put it on the credit card. What's funny is in 30 days, I actually did get my first client. Wow. And $4,200 a month. So I paid $4,200. Yeah. So I paid $1,000 for the course. By the end of the 30-day, I already have a client that is gonna pay me $4,200 per month.
And this is USD.
This is USD, yeah.
USD.
So it already, because I went to school, I went to college in the States, right, in LA, and then so that was my market. And then so in that moment, I was like, holy shit, shit actually works. And then so I'm like, $4,200 a month. You time that by 12, that's $50,000 a year. And if I just have 20 clients, I'm gonna make $1 million a year. Right. And then so that also gave me a lot of confidence. So the fact that I had that first client first, and then also the support from my mom, most like emotional support from my mom, saying that you're on the right path, you should do what you're passionate about, and what you really want to do, instead of like kind of like something that's forced upon you or given to you. I kind of like took the leap of faith. Right. And then the funny thing is, in the entire 12 months after that, I haven't signed one more client. So like that, and it was so funny. It's almost kind of like, just throughout my 4.5 years of entrepreneurial experience, I just became, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like I do believe that there is a kind of like a creative force that's running the universe, and then so there's a certain kind of like a set of rules that governs how things happen, Right. And then so to me, it's almost like, the universe is pushing me onto the path of entrepreneurship. Because like, what are the chances a complete newbie business closed the first deal when he was just about to make the decision on whether he wanted to quit the family business or not. Right. And then I didn't have any client after that. But one thing that I did right after that, quitting the job and kind of like booking a one-way ticket to LA and then started to run my business full time is I kept on learning. And I just kind of like dove deeper and deeper and deeper into marketing, specifically direct response marketing.
So when you say learning, did you like buy more courses?
Yeah, I took out more credit cards, American Express, Bank of America, Chase, like a Discover. Like I just took out a lot of credit cards, just using the money that I didn't have to buy, programs, courses, books. Dude, I have notebooks this thick. Obviously 10 to almost 20 notebooks. I was just taking down notes. I was learning. I was just absorbing everything that I can about direct response marketing like a sponge, as much as I possibly can.
Right.
And then so that really set me up well because I didn't really get any like monetary benefit during the period I was learning it. Yeah. But then when I applied that into a later opportunity, it made that business significant amount of money. But that's a whole story on its own. But that's a super long-winded way of saying that what I do is marketing, branding, promotion.
Right. Yeah. That was definitely a long story, but very, very good story. I think there's so many good nuggets in there. Obviously, you shared that you went to school. You went to school in the States specifically as well. So I guess another thing I wanted to ask was, what is how do you view like the education that you got in school versus like, I guess the education that you got from paying for these like programs and courses online?
I would say those are two very different types of education. Two very, very different types of education. The education that I have invested in myself after I graduated from college are what I would say kind of like technical education. It's more so telling you how to do a specific thing well. Okay. For example, how to run advertising on Facebook, how to write high converting copy, how to film a video,
right?
How to use organic social media to generate leads and stuff like that. It's how to education to solve a very well-defined problem for a very well-defined outcome.
I see.
But the education that I received when I was in college, it's more of a shaping your worldview type of thing. It doesn't like it teach you specifically, what buttons to click on a Facebook app, like a business manager dashboard and stuff like that. So I hear you can nowadays, like I ever since I became an entrepreneur, I follow a lot of like other entrepreneurs and podcasts and stuff like that. And there are just a lot of like entrepreneurs and very high level entrepreneurs that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year bashing traditional education, especially higher education, saying how expensive it is and how little that you actually get out of it. Yeah. Well, then like you're only evaluating kind of like the money making aspect of it. Then you would say it's a bad investment. But I would say a lot of my worldview and then also like kind of like my values have been shaped when I was in college, and I just didn't think I would have been able to get it anywhere else. And also obviously the connections and the networks that I've made in college opened a lot of doors that I just don't think it would have been open to me if I didn't go.
Okay.
So very different education. I value both. I think in order for you to be an entrepreneur, you definitely need the technical part. You might not always need that traditional higher education part, but I think it's good that it was there to shape me as a person.
So would you say that like college kind of shaped your mindset to be more, I guess, maybe open, or to be of a sponge for you to really take in the education that you sought out afterwards.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. And then I think that when I was back in college, I had the best time of my life too. And here, like I'm saying this to say that, and this is kind of like I would say more of a testament to, what you're really being educated on is not really what's on the textbook, but more so like a way of thinking, and then kind of like pursuing certain type of opportunity. I think entrepreneurship really became the theme of my life when I was in college. I remember I was kind of like the board member of multiple student organizations on campus.
Wow.
And then so that was kind of like most of those organizations are nonprofit, but still you're kind of like running a small organization, so to speak, and then you're working with people to achieve certain outcome.
Yeah.
And then this particular one that's called a 3D, it's like the acronym is 3DS. It's short for 3-day startup. So it's kind of like a franchise of, it's a franchise student club that, hosts a competition where you're gonna, the students are gonna come in, and for 3 days, like no sleep, literally 72 hours. 72 hours and no sleep. Well, I mean, you can choose to sleep if you want, but most people just choose not to, because you only have 72 hours to come up with a business idea, and then make it into pitch deck, and then pitch to investors. Wow. And then so we run that whole thing. Oh. And then so that kind of exposed me to even more kind of like just entrepreneurial minded people. And then, my college roommate, still one of my best friends, 2 years ago, I went to his wedding. And then he bought his first car using the money that he's made himself by starting a startup in a summer break. And then two other good friends of mine, and we haven't contacted each other in a long time. We just got really busy. So like at that time back in college, we were pretty good friends. They actually became very, very successful rappers in China.
Wow. And
then so these people gave me kind of like a lot of inspirations and also permissions to do something that are less conventional. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then so I'm saying this to go back to, being in osmosis with, people that are doing non-traditional things. That happened when I was in college. And that environment fostered my worldview and mindset. So if you were to ask me, if you didn't go there, would you still be doing the same thing that you're doing today? I probably would have said no. It probably would have taken me a lot longer, at least. Right. Yeah. So I already forgot what the original question was, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. That was really insightful for sure. Just a little bit about education. I think you're right. You brought up a good point about people bashing traditional education, as an investment, and I think people need to get maybe a different opinion on really what the expectation is, right?
Right.
Out of going to college, going to university.
Yeah.
Right?
I will say this: unless you're going to become a doctor or a lawyer or some sort of like a certified engineer nowadays, if your goal is to make money, it's a waste of money to go to college. But college is way more than just making money. So I think people are missing the point there.
So for the experience, for the networking,
the mindset that you have, and just kind of like, because like, and maybe it's also because I went to a very, very liberal college. It was UCLA. Okay. So it's a public university in the state of California. So California is very liberal.
Yeah.
And being a public university, it's kind of like at the forefront. And like historically, students has been the more progressive voices in politics. And then so being in UC and being in Los Angeles, and really, kind of like brought a shit ton of like progressive ideas to me. And that was really, really important. Before that point, dude, I was in China, right? That was a whole different world.
Yeah.
So that I wouldn't say I had a lot of like cultural shock because my family have always been pretty Western.
Okay.
Very Western by traditional, Chinese standards.
Right.
But still like being at the very forefront of a very progressive liberal college at one of the most progressive liberal states in one of the most progressive and liberal countries in the world, just opens your eyes.
Right.
Yeah, and changes the way that you think about things.
Okay. Another thing about, I guess, going back to like day to day of an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage the other things like I guess besides eating? I think there are other like certain chores and such that take time, like whether it be cleaning up the place, things like that. Doing laundry, like since you're so focused on being effective with your time management, for the business, then how do you just curious how you manage those things?
That's a good question. Let me think about it. What did I do?
So, would you say you're like maybe more messy, or is there still a?
So I keep my workspace very, very clean. I can't remember the last time I cleaned my place. I think I'm extremely lucky in a way that I have a very, very good roommate.
Okay.
She keeps the place clean.
Okay.
And she's kind of like my mom to a certain extent. I'm not kidding, because she'll literally make food for me sometimes. She has that maternal kind of like vibe and energy, and then she really just takes care of a lot of the things in the apartment. And then so in terms of like the regular chores I guess people do, she does all of that. For all that I need to do, I guess, to just fold my laundry. So which is a lot. I have 5 minutes to fold my laundry. Like my day isn't that crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do try to pack as much into my day as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when do you usually wake up and go to sleep?
It really changed a lot in the course of the past couple of years. When I first started my business about 4.5 years ago, I go to bed strictly at night. I wake up at about 4:30 in the morning, and I just get to work. Nowadays, maybe something that's changed in me, or like I don't really know what's changed. Maybe the stars align a little bit differently now. I'm a night owl now. So like I go to sleep super late, like at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and I pretty much I don't set an alarm anymore. I wake up whenever I feel well rested. I had a period of time in my life where I'm just like super go on the go, like a super I'm kind of like running my day like I was in military
right.
in a way. But at the time I thought it was good, but theoretically it was good. But and this is where like I feel like something that I've learned throughout my journey of being an entrepreneur is, don't just take other people's advice blindly. Figure out what works best for you.
Right.
And then so what works best for me is when I'm very well rested. I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of energy. I can actually get more done in, let's say, 12 hours than what I used to spend 16 hours doing a day, simply because I'm more productive, better energy. And the problem that I choose to solve is a little bit more, I would say, challenging, because I had the energy to deal with it, right? So nowadays, I just most of the time I wake up at like just 9, sometimes as late as 10. Wake up, go to gym, take a shower, come back and work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So working out you do in the morning?
Typically in the morning. I try to get my workout in, just 4 days lifting weights, and I try to run 1 or twice a week. Depends on the weather.
Oh, running is always outside.
Well, if the weather is bad, especially in the winter here,
yeah,
then I'm just gonna run on a treadmill.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because this is Vancouver, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain Snow, I'm definitely running outside. I'm sorry, running inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess for your business, do you have any like particular specific goals right now? Like maybe where you see like yourself in a year, 5 years?
Definitely. That's a really, really good question. Because the reason I said it was a good question is because merely 6 months ago, I will give you a completely different answer than what I'm about to give you. So, about 6 months ago, it actually marked my 4 years of being just independent from my family, just being an entrepreneur on my own.
Yeah.
And then so for the entire 4 years during that period of time, my goal has always been some arbitrary materialistic number. It could have been a dollar amount, could be cash flow, could be revenue, could be profit, EBITDA, like however people measure that, in terms of like kind of like a business success.
Yeah.
I've had a few businesses started at that time, some of which, actually all of which at that point failed for different reasons. And one of the business at one point was very, very successful. And then for reasons we can, we're going into detail if we want, that eventually didn't work out. And it happened very, very, very recently. And then so it really got me to think, what do I really want out of my life?
Right.
And is it really the dollar amount, the amount of money? And if I do get them, and like one of my mentors, in one of his training videos, he said something that, stuck with me. And then he said that, a lot of you guys are trying to make a lot of money, you want to make, 7-figure a month, you want to do this and do that. I want you to think about this. I want you to really put yourself in a position and just mentally, masturbate, right? Like this month, you've made $100,000. Next month, you're going to make $100,000. The month after, you're going to make $100,000. How are you actually going to spend that money? Like what? And if you were to make even more money, what are you going to do with it?
Right.
And so most of the time, I would actually just write it off. I would be like, the more the merrier. Now I'm like, what am I actually going to do with that money? Because what I realize is I don't need it's definitely a lot of money, just the number wise, but I don't need to be kind of like a billionaire or even a millionaire to live the lifestyle that I want to live. It's actually very manageable amount of money. So what do I do with the rest of the money? So I would pretty much be putting all this time into making something that I don't ultimately need. So what do I really want? And then so what I realized is that I care more about who I professionally grow into, the respect and the recognition that I can command from my peers than the money in the bank account. Don't get me wrong, it's important to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But past that point, what do you want? What drives you? And so my biggest thing right now is I don't want to use the word best because I think it's way too overused and abused. I want it to be a very, very unique and effective promoter.
Okay.
And then promoter, being encompassing, marketing, branding, sales, and stuff like that. I just want to either kind of like create great brands and then bring them to market, or help brand owners promote their products in a very effective way. And then so nowadays, what I focus on, to go back to your question, I focus on being the best kind of like promoter and promotions executive I can be. Okay. So storytelling, marketing, branding, filmmaking. I focus more on my skills now, because I think when you have the right skills, the money is going to come as a byproduct. And since I need so little of it, I don't really care that much, not nearly as much as I did before, on exactly how much. I think back in then, because we've known each other for a long time, I used to be very tense. I think I'm a lot less tense now in a way.
Right. Actually, if you don't mind sharing, I remember you mentioned you had basically that kind of, if you call it 15-minute of success, or that you had a period of success, where you made a lot of money. Right.
Yeah.
And that, and then obviously that changed as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then how did that affect your view on exactly money? Obviously you did share a little bit about it already, but just I guess elaborating on that personal experience.
Definitely. So the first time in my life that I really had any significant success money-wise, completely on my own without support from family, is my last business.
Right.
That would just actually closed not too long ago. We can go into the reasons at an appropriate time, but for a period of time, me and my business partners in that business, we were making, for all of us, we were making more money than we've ever made in a single month. And to me, that was a moment where damn, I've proven myself.
Yeah,
I've made it. Because if a part of the reason why I kind of wanted to, quit my family business is also to prove myself. Because I had a very deep, kind of a sense of dissatisfaction with myself at the time, because I feel like I haven't built anything that's truly my own. I'm just taking things from my family, or they're giving things to me. I'm being given. I'm not creating anything that's my own. And then so the last business that I was in, I think in our best month we made $527,000 in cash collected USD.
So over $500,000 US in a month.
And it's not just signing contract and then we're waiting money to hit the bank account. Not that, actual money going into bank account. Right. At our disposal.
Yeah.
That's our highest month, and then our regular month, we can just very regularly made at least $200,000 to $300,000 cash collected. I'm not talking about contract value, or just people that say, oh, I'm going to do business with you guys, and then just put on a deposit. No, I'm talking about cash in the bank account.
Right.
And then so the partners, we each got paid out pretty handsomely for a consecutive couple months before things started to kind of go south a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that moment to me is I've made it. I've proven myself. And also for you to understand, prior to that point, I've been trying to prove myself and then trying to have a successful business for 2 years, 2.5 years. I didn't really have any real level of success. I'm barely covering my bills, right? And then so in that moment I was damn, I feel like this can go on forever. I can get used to this. You know what I'm saying? And then so friends will come to visit, and I would just take them out to steak dinner, $500, $600 dinner, like it was nothing. I bought a sports car. Thank God I still own it now. And I bought snowboards, the best in the line snowboards. Paid for private lessons. Go to Whistler. What a blessing! It's only an hour and a half away from here. Go to Whistler all the time. I pretty much and for you to understand, at that time, it really so this is the damage that it's done to me. I'm going to talk about the damage that it's done to me.
Yeah.
Is it made me feel like when business is done right, it's very, very easy. No business is ever easy. No business is ever easy. But the illusion that I had at the time is for you to understand, majority of my team is on the East Coast. So we get to work at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Here, at Pacific time.
Pacific time, yeah.
Yeah. 9 a.m. there, 6 a.m. here. Usually I only got to work about 2 to 3 hours a day because the sales calls are taken care of by salespeople. I have copywriter, media buyer looking at the ads that we're running at the time. So I didn't really need to put a lot of time into it.
Okay.
By about 8 a.m., 9 a.m. here, I'm done with my work. I have the rest of the day to myself, and I'm getting paid more money that I've ever made in a single month. And so what am I going to do with my time? Like, what am I going to do with my time and the money that I've made, right? And so I very regularly spend, that's also why, you know, like when I meet up with my friends later, you know, snowboarding trip, they're like, holy shit, how did you snowboard so well? It's because I spent the whole winter out on the mountain, you know, because I would just get off work, eat something, and I go up the mountain at around, you know, latest 1 or 2. And then the ski resorts here in Vancouver, they don't close until sometimes as late as 9 p.m. I'll just stay on the mountain this whole time.
Right.
I just progress super fast, and I feel like, damn, work-life balance, baby. You know what I'm saying? Making money, work-life balance. I can definitely get used to this, and then so this is the damage that it's done for me, and I'm still recovering from it. That the reality of business is, it's not that easy. You might have like periods of season where like it's very, very easy. But if you're actually trying to do something great, you're not just trying to coast. There are ways to build businesses where like you only spend a couple of hours and then you make a certain amount of money. And it's very comfortable. It's a very, you know, kind of like a very, very good work-life balance. But I'm trying to be the best that I can at my craft, right? So I should be spending devoting all of my time and energy and also money as well into just being better and better and better. So this is kind of like where I am at right now. But in that moment, I was just like, I'm spending money like they're nothing, and then, you know, I'm doing all the, you know, quote unquote self-love thing. You know, I spend $2,000-3,000 a month on a private bodybuilding trainer. And you know, just like the expenses that didn't need to be there at all. Right. And then, soon enough, I learned my lessons. But that was a very interesting period in my life. And then so I think, okay, that was the damage that it's done to me. But let me talk about kind of like the recovery and the benefits that I got out of it. Is I cherish my money now, not because I wanted to kind of like
not like a scarcity mindset.
Not a scarcity mindset where like I think I started to respect money a lot more.
I see.
And I feel like, you know, that's the outcome of my work, and I feel like that's a resource that's given to me, again, like being spiritual for a minute here, by the universe, and see how I'm going to steward that money. Are you going to use the money for just, you know, self-indulgence, for pleasure, or are you actually going to steward the money and do something like good with it? Whether it's taking care of family, it can, like, I'm not saying like donate all your money to charity and stuff like that. I'm just saying, like, are you using it to become a better person, so to speak? Right. You don't have to donate it to a charity, but are you using it to take care of family, or are you like bettering yourself as a professional? Are you reinvesting that into the community and stuff like that? And then so I start to respect money a lot more, and I think, you know, in a way, it's kind of like seeing the way that I was spending my money. The universe kind of like took it back and be like, okay, if you're going to be stupid with your money, you don't get any more of it.
Wow.
So that really is the way that I honestly, God's truth, the way that I look at it right now. And also around the same time, I started to have like very similar concept, but with different. I give you an example. So a lot of times, you know, you're a content creator. I'm about to become a content creator as well, like producing a lot more content, really like tapping into my creativity. But as entrepreneurs, as human beings, we have ideas, and once we have ideas, we hold on to the ideas, and then we tie our identity to the idea. Where like, this is my idea. Right. The way I like to think about it is the idea has a life of its own, and you have your life of your own. When you and the idea vibrate on the same level, the idea will try to materialize through you as the medium. You do not own the idea, just like you do not own the money. The universe can just take your idea and money away from you just as easily as it gives you. So that kind of like it gives you a lot more respect for idea. And also like the benefit is when you don't have a good idea, you don't try to be too hard on yourself because it's not your idea. Yeah. It's like sometimes you got to wait for the idea to come at the proper time as well. And same goes for opportunity as well. Sometimes you feel like, I don't like the life that I'm living right now. I don't like what I'm working on right now. I feel like I should be like I'm looking up to Steve Jobs and Apple. I should be creating my Apple now. Well, question is, if the opportunity really fall on your lap right now, would you actually be able to seize it with the skill sets and the character traits that you have right now?
Right. Or
are you going to mess it up? My answer is I would definitely be like, I'm talking about an opportunity that size. I'll probably mess it up because, when I had a lot of money, I did not invest into self-development. Now I'm spending my last dollar, pretty much as much money as I can into self-development and just being a better self. And hopefully in 10 years, I will be able to handle an opportunity that size.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like that goes for opportunities, ideas. They have a life of their own. And here's your life.
Yeah.
When you level up, you match up their level, they will try to materialize through you as the medium, not the creator, the medium.
That's deep.
Yeah. That's the way at least I like to think about it.
Yeah, I've never thought of it in that perspective for sure.
Yeah, because I actually got this idea from a TED Talk that I listened to. I should remember her name, but Elizabeth something. And then so she wrote a book that was super popular at the time. I think it's still popular now in certain niche. It's called Eat, Pray, Love. And then so there was a movie that was made out of it as well.
Yeah.
And so it was popular. And then she talked about the idea of creative genius. And so what it is every person has a spirit. I'm not talking about spirit in your body, but like a spirit somewhere in the heaven where the spirit is overlooking you. And the spirit is your muse. And she's going to give you ideas at the most appropriate timing. And so back in Roman Empire and stuff like that, when you don't have a good idea, people don't blame you. They just say, oh, your creative genius kind of sucks. You know what I'm saying? I kind of take a lot of like creative pressure off of you as a person, because like then it's not you, it's your creative genius. So yeah, I do believe ideas have they have an energy field of their own. They have a life of their own. Your business, they have a life of their own as well.
Okay. So yeah, that's definitely a lot about you as well, your journey, and I guess you shared a little bit what you do. I guess. What does you talked a little bit about how you value money as well, and you talked about how you don't need extravagant amounts of money to really just survive, right? So we're very manageable. So what does success look like to you?
Success to me, again, in a year from now it might be different again, but to me right now at this moment in this space and time is producing a piece of work that will endure the test of time. I tend to think of the titans in my industry. David Ogilvy, he is obviously the founder of the most successful 4A advertising agency nowadays, Ogilvy and Mader. Some of his work, the campaigns that he's created 70, 80 years ago, are still running to this day. The test of a good idea is how long it can endure.
Right.
And you look at some of the films that were produced today, right? Like you have Hollywood big box movies that are $200 million in budget, made a couple like $300-400 million. So you have all these work, but very few of those work are actually going to stand the test of time. Most of them are going to fade away. One of my favorite movies is, it actually just very recently came out, Dune 2, along with Dune 1, right? Like they're directed by the same director. They're pretty much the same production crew. That movie is going to last. Like 100 years later, people are still going to come back to this point in time, watch this movie, and this is where like the trajectory of cinematography and film just changed a little bit. From now on, sci-fi movies are never gonna be the same again. The bar has been raised.
Right.
it has become, it's etched in human civilization history. It elevated maybe just, the human civilization by just a little bit, but that little bit is damn hard to do. Like Steve Jobs, he etched kind of like, we're not talking about products now, like you might feel a certain way about iPhone and stuff like that.
No.
Like the way that he marries technology and design and art, I haven't seen anyone do it at the level that he did it prior to him. And so he raised the bar. Pretty much to answer your question, I wanted to raise the bar at a certain area for civilization. To me, like if I were able to do that in my kind of like a professional career,
yeah,
I've done it.
Okay.
I've done it. That's success to me.
All right.
Now, obviously, I'm not saying, okay, I want to make a very, very important distinction is I'm not saying I don't need money anymore. There are very nice things that I want to buy. Like I'm a diehard Porsche fan. I'm a diehard Ferrari fan. I probably wouldn't, even if I have billions of dollars, I'll probably never buy a yacht because that's just not my personality.
Yeah.
I like nice houses, but not extravagant houses. I like houses that are designed by interior designers and architects that I really look up to. Practical, nice, but not like $100 million mansion for extravagancy. It's not that. So I look at that lifestyle that I wanted. Like I'm going to make this very clear. It's a lot of money, but compared to like if I one day, let's just say this, if one day I were to become a billionaire, that would have been less than 1% of my net worth. Like all the cars that I wanted to own and all the house that I wanted to own.
Yeah.
That would have been less than 1%. What about the next 99%? Goes back to you just you try to raise the bar in one area for humanity just a little bit. And I think that by you doing that, you're gonna get all that as a natural byproduct, so to speak. Yeah, but so I'm still, there are very nice things I wanted to buy. Yeah, for sure. And then when people, you just, for the record, when you see me drive nice cars in the future, and say, "Oh, he said that he didn't need new money." No, I want those. I want those.
Right. Okay. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's definitely a monumental goal. I mean, I think a lot of people dream to make a dent, in history, right?
You're right. You're totally right. That's why it's life's work. You're not going to do that in 5 years. It's not a 5-year plan. You're not going to make a dent in 5 years.
That's right.
The way that you put it is perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Yeah.
So, I guess another thing I didn't refer to earlier is you had so many good stories just kind of coming back to back. But going back to you, when I think about you are like, this is like a John Wick quote, like a man of focus.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I see you being very disciplined, all the time, and so, you've also shared a bit about your day to day, having been able to, wake up early at, 4, work 16-hour days consistently. So how do you find that discipline, or do you feel like it comes natural, or is there like a very strong, like, why behind, you getting up in the morning?
To me is, in the past, up until this point, it's been proving a point.
Proving a point.
I really wanted to prove myself. And I think a tiny shift that has happened literally in the last couple months, a lot of things have changed in my last couple months. I was actually just visiting a friend 2 days ago, and then I've known him pretty much since day one. I landed in Vancouver, and then so he's seen pretty much my almost 90% of my entrepreneurial journey. And then he said that your life, there's never a dull moment, and I agree with him. But the reason I said that is because I feel like I have changed a little bit in the way to think about things. In the past, I try to prove to other people that I am certain. I am kind of like a high value man. I can make things happen on my own. I'm not gonna say that I've completely 100% made peace with that. I think a core part of me still has a very competitive part of me where like I'm going to show the world what I can do.
Yeah.
But I think a very healthy change, or maybe now I think it's healthy, maybe a year later I will think otherwise, but a very healthy change now is I want to prove to myself. I want to impress myself and see what I can do.
Yeah.
And then but to answer your question, I think, up until this point, it's been, even now, it's still been proving that point. But just like, who do I prove to has changed a little bit. In the past, it's always been, I want to prove to you guys that I can do certain things.
I see.
Now, that part, still there. It's not as strong as it was before, but it's taken up by, I want to show myself, I want to impress myself with what I can do. I used to kind of like, just like attach a lot of like, I would say, self-esteem to how other people see me.
Yeah.
I'm still not 100%. I really, for a period of time when I was in Vancouver during the middle of COVID, I had, like everything is locked down. I live in an apartment in downtown, and I was, brand new to Vancouver, right? I look out the window, there's no one on the street except for a few bums. And then it was quite kind of like apocalyptic in a way, right? And then so I had nothing to do. Nothing to do. I was, obviously studying marketing and branding and stuff, but, I bought also a lot of books on spirituality. This is where I get a lot of my kind of like a more spiritual side of me was forged in that period of time. But I feel like even though some people say that, if you work hard enough, you can get to the point where you just like, don't give a shit about how other people think.
Yeah.
Number one, I think it's so hard to do. It's kind of like it defeats the purpose. Then why do you even do it in the first place? And number two is, I don't think, being completely egoless is a very useful thing, I should say, in this society. I think you need a little bit of ego in order to function, but function well. Like it's kind of like a delicate balance. If you have too little of it, then you're just completely, like you live in a mountain, you don't care about anything.
Yeah.
And if you have too much of it, then you're gonna not be able to function very well in the society.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then so with that, I think, it's about managing a healthy amount of like ego. And so I have that part of me where like I'm still super competitive. I want to prove to the world, I want to show you what I can do. And then don't you ever say that,
you can do this.
Yeah, you can do this. Or I wanted people, to me, like now I'm just so like respect driven where like I want people to respect me for my work, for the work that I do.
Okay.
And then, that hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that definitely does. That does lead into another question though. Has there been someone or like people that have told you like, oh, you can't do this, or in order to create that mindset for you where you really don't want to?
I would say growing up have been in a very, very supportive environment.
Okay.
So it's not something that people said to me directly that made me competitive, but I think it's more indirect of kind of like the environment that I have grown up, where like, and I'm saying this to say that we're all born equal as human beings.
Yeah.
We're all special snowflakes. No one is intrinsically more valuable than the other person. It's just a matter of like life choices that you make. There are people who just want to live by a beach, retire by 35 and just live by a beach for the rest of their life. All power to them, right? I think something that has become very toxic in the entrepreneurship world is they look down on people who don't do the same thing as they do.
Right.
Where like, if you're not making a change in the world, if you're not doing this, dude, like we're all gonna die one day and nothing's gonna matter and the universe is gonna blow up and none of the things that you actually are like think is important because it's just the law of universe. Like everything is gonna one day the universe is gonna cool down, is not gonna be able to support life.
Right.
Nothing's gonna matter, right? So what matters is like how you define your life.
Yeah.
Let other people define their life, right? So I'm saying this to say I'm saying this because my dad lives a very different type of life as I do. He is more content with just his lifestyle. He will be he would just go to a 9 to 5, kind of like collect his paycheck and come home, watch TV and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that life, unless he's
not the one who started like your family business.
No, he's not. He's not. Yeah, my grandfather started the family business.
Oh, I see.
So here's the thing. On my dad's side, they're all more, kind of like all the family members on my dad's side are more, they're content with life. But all the people on my mom's side are very competitive in nature. My auntie as well. Think about it. We're running a manufacturing business. A manufacturing business is male dominated.
Yeah.
My auntie is running that shit, and she's not only running that shit. We have a kind of like a mini monopoly in the kind of like the very specific, kind of like a thing that we make in the marketplace. That takes a lot of grit and a strong personality to make happen.
It's a lot of effort.
Yeah, that's my auntie, and my mom the same way.
Wow.
She's been through and she started multiple of her own companies, and she's been, kind of like a second hand to right hand to CEO in a lot of different companies that way. My grandfather, after he retired, came out to start the family business. So you see the conflict there?
Yeah.
And then so obviously my parents' marriage, it didn't work out. And then so kind of like witnessing that happening and what caused the kind of like the relationship not working out between them, I guess it in a way it kind of just taught me that man needs to be successful to be loved. I've held that belief for I honestly, like, right now I still do believe it. I think it's pretty toxic, but I still do believe it. I think it's a very, very primitive drive that's driving my motivations, I think. And also, like, I just want, I want to be respected. I want to be recognized. I want to be revered amongst my peers, and just people in general public.
Understand.
Yeah. And then obviously to prove to myself as well, because I think if you're able to impress yourself, then it's gonna give you more. I wouldn't call it happiness, but joy. Then
I think it'll be the most rewarding.
Yeah, exactly. Fulfillment.
Right.
Achievement, sense of achievement. Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I can't even begin to appreciate how much you brought on to us. So excited to probably hopefully see you again maybe a year or so, something like that, and kind of revisit, maybe see where you are.
Cool. Yeah.
Then. Yeah.
100%. Next time I might be here in a Ferrari.
I really wish for that. I truly wish for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. No, thank you.
Thank you.